My first guest this morning, we're in the kitchen with a brand new pastry cookbook that we definitely think you'll want to know about. Temple Pastries in Seattle's Central District is known for their delicious treats, and now they have a new cookbook. Christina Wood is the author of Pastry Temple, and she joins me with a stunning recipe. Good morning.
Hello.
Thank you for helping out my sweet tooth this morning. I love chocolate. I love carbs. You're bringing both. What are we making?
Oh yeah, so today we're gonna do our triple chocolate croissant, which is croissant dough. There's chocolate in the dough, in the croissant, and then we're gonna be filling it with a whipped chocolate ganache.
You weren't kidding. Triple chocolate,
Yes.
Decadent. Okay, how do we get started with the recipe?
Okay, so to make this ganache, it's pretty simple, but first you're gonna need a very special type of gelatin that comes in a sheet instead of powder. And all you do is you bloom it in some ice water. While that's softening up, we're gonna bring our cream to a boil.
Oh.
And then once we bring this to a boil and the gelatin is soft, we're just going to combine everything in this cup. I have some Valrhona
That's what I was
Javara
going to ask.
chocolate.
Is there a particular chocolate?
Oh, yes.
That's got to be important.
Yes, you don't want to be using like chocolate chips or carob or anything like that. You want to make sure you have very high quality chocolate for this. It's going to really affect the taste and the texture.
Okay. And then again, how long would the gelatin, what am I looking for there? I've never worked with that.
Yeah, so right, you can kind of see it's like flexible, but it's making a noise and it's hard. So once this is bloomed, it will be like squishy and soft. It's gonna just absorb that water and make it easy to melt from
And
the
again,
heat.
the timing, how long would something like that take?
Maybe like a minute.
Oh.
Minute or two. Yeah.
Okay, well that's quick enough.
Yeah.
And then while this is going to, tell us about the new cookbook and congratulations.
Thank you so much. This is my first cookbook. I've had such fun writing it. And it's all about the 3 pillars of pastry is what I refer to. It's basically 3 very fundamental doughs of pastry to learn so that you can create all sorts of different treats. The first is brioche, then there's puff pastry, and then there's croissant. So I really go into the science of how to make these 3 doughs, and then once you have mastered the basic technique, then you can go and make the more elaborate sweet and savory recipes that follow.
Okay, how would you say that this particular recipe, are we on the moderate side, easy side this morning? What are we looking at?
This is one of the more advanced. I would say croissant is the hardest chapter.
Well, you're hitting me with it this morning. Okay, it looks like this is bubbling to a boil.
And see, now this is really soft and squishy. We can throw it in there.
Okay.
Then this is coming to a boil, and we'll just pour it right over.
Amazing.
Everything's gonna start to melt together. And what we're gonna do is use an immersion blender.
Oh, this is fancy.
Yes.
Why do you like using this particular instrument?
So this is going to create like a perfect emulsion between the chocolate and the cream. If you just whisk, sometimes you're gonna get too much air. This just really gives you that perfect texture.
All right. You know, you're the expert. I trust you. Consistency are we looking for?
You really just want to make sure that all of your chocolate is melted, because now that we have a ganache, technically, we're going to add more cream to it that is cold.
Oh.
And this, I'll just do this.
I'm like, do you want me to help? I don't think I'll mess this up for you.
Yeah, go ahead and start pouring that
in. Keep going?
Yep, all of it. There you go.
Ooh.
All right, so you see how much lighter that has become. It's going to be less sweet than what we started off with.
Yeah, looking more like a milk chocolate kind of flavor. And I can smell that chocolate. So I get what you're saying with picking the right brand there.
Absolutely.
Delicious. It's looking like chocolate milk consistency.
Yes. So now that we've created this, we're going to let it sit overnight because all of the molecules of chocolate need to recrystallize back into their form. And if you try to whip this up now, it's just going to kind of make weird butter, which you don't want.
Okay, so that's important. You have to wait. And with the power of TV, we're not concerned.
One, yes.
We have one.
So I made this one yesterday.
Yes. It looks like more of a mousse than consistency, doesn't it?
You can see it's very, it's really thickened up.
Yes,
And
like a pudding.
Yes, you could even just eat a spoonful of it like this.
I might.
But we're gonna whip it up in a mixer. You can also do it by hand, but it's gonna take a lot of
really
arm power, yes.
And how long mixing? Just a couple minutes? Or what consistency are we looking for when we do that?
We're looking for kind of stiff peaks to form. You don't want to over whip it because then it's gonna get grainy.
Oh.
But it's kind of like when you whip cream. You're looking for that kind of consistency there.
Fair enough. All right. Here we go. You know your way around a KitchenAid, I can tell.
Absolutely.
Oh, I see what you mean, why you'd want to use a KitchenAid and not.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's you can do it, but it's gonna be very tiring.
It's gonna be a workout. We don't need that. I just need my triple chocolate croissant.
I mean, maybe if you just want to earn it, you know, work up a little sweat beforehand.
True. I guess maybe that wouldn't be such a bad idea.
We're almost there.
All right.
And then in here I have a piping bag. And to fill piping bags, I like to put them in like a really tall pitcher. That way you don't have to like hold it while you're filling it. You can just set it there.
And this goes in the piping bag, and then we're actually going to put that, like you were talking about earlier,
inside the croissant.
The already chocolate croissant. And what other fun recipes can people find in your cookbook? Like, what are some other favorites?
Yeah, so the 5-spice kouign-amann is one of my favorites. A kouign-amann traditionally is a croissant that is layered with not only butter but also sugar. So it becomes very crisp on the outside, like a caramel lacquer, and then the inside is like a caramel custardy kind of texture. But I added 5-spice to the sugar, so really like warming, like you get that cinnamon note, but then it's kind of interesting because it's not just cinnamon, and it's really fantastic.
That is so different. Okay, I don't want to stop you with what you're doing. Okay,
so
we have that.
You can see how thick it has become.
I am going to try a little because I can, right? Oh my gosh, delicious.
So we'll just knock it off the whisk there.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's like a mousse texture. Oh, but not overly chocolatey.
Yes,
like it's very light and airy and fluffy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of liken it to like a dessert frosty, like a non-frozen frosty is kind of how it tastes.
That's perfect. Perfect way to describe it. How do you come up with all of these like recipes and ideas?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
it just pops in your head.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for all of your ideas. Can I be helpful and hold one of these?
Yeah, if you actually want to take the paring knife and you're going to go on the bottom and just stick the knife right in the bottom and then twist it, and that'll make a little hole for this mousse to go into.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what you have to do to fill a pastry that's already been baked.
And that's important to bake it first and then do this so it's not.
Yeah, this would not survive in the oven. So then you have this. That's perfect.
Okay.
And then you just squeeze the mousse in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We'll do one more because we have time. Okay. Twist it around.
Yep.
I'll give you this guy. Ooh, and while I'm tasting your shop, Temple Pastries, tell everybody where it is and what makes you guys such a crowd favorite.
Yeah,
I'm just diving in.
Temple Pastries is in the Central District, and we opened in October of 2020, so we are just coming up on our 5-year birthday. I started Temple as a pop-up croissant shop and doing wholesale to different coffee shops, and then one of those coffee shop owners noticed that everyone was selling me out every time, and he was like, hey, let's open a bakery together. So Broadcast Coffee has partnered with me, and that's how we got into our retail space. And yeah, it's honestly just a dream. I never thought I would get this far in my career, and it's amazing.
Well, if it's anything like this, I see why. This is absolutely delicious. I thought triple chocolate croissant, it would be so overpowering and like a punch in the face with chocolate, but it's perfect. Perfect, flaky, doughy. The chocolate comes through. That filling is divine. What else did you bring to before you leave me today?
So I have some selections from our shop, and some of these are in the book, but not all.
Okay.
So we have a classic croissant, which is like my pride and joy. We have a cardamom almond brioche knot, also amazing.
I love cardamom.
Then we have a savory pastry that is a shallot jam and Gruyere cheese on a croissant. And then this is our bow stock, which is a twice-baked brioche slab that is soaked in a cinnamon apple syrup and then has like a walnut cream baked on the top. So it's like crispy but custardy. And nothing's too sweet. I hate when things are just overpoweringly sweet. So everything's very balanced.
That's the perfect word for it. So balanced, perfect for fall. I don't want you to leave. I'm gonna have to eat the rest of this later. Thank you so much for being here.